I've read that you were trained by the Iron Sheik. Is there any truth to that?
There's a lot of truth to that, as a matter of fact, man. I was working in the Houston wrestling office when I was like, oh man, I had to be 16 and 17 years old. Actually, I worked there from the time I was 16 to 20 when I started wrestling. And there was a football player who wanted to learn how to wrestle in Houston because I think somebody told him he could make a lot of money and it wouldn't be so hard as football. And Gary Hart used to come in every Friday morning and go over the matches with Paul Bosch before the show, and then he'd go down and do the show Friday night. Well, the Iron Sheik was in the territory. He was wrestling as Muhammad Farouk. And since this football player wanted to train to be a wrestler, Paul Bosch set it up where Gary would bring the Sheik from Houston, or from Dallas to Houston, and come down in the afternoon, like noon, and the football player and I would go to the Coliseum with the Sheik and work out. The football player only lasted 2 weeks, and Khosrow came down a couple weeks after that. We trained maybe 2 months, Friday afternoon before the shows. And I always kept my gear in my trunk anyway because I wanted to wrestle, and Paul knew I wanted to wrestle, so I was ready for anything, man. But yeah, that's kind of what happened. After Sheik left the territory, I trained with Nick Kozak and Joe Mercer. So yeah, I trained with the Iron Sheik, man. He stretched the living shit out of me, man, a couple times. Slapped the dog shit out of me and stretched me. There wasn't a whole lot I could do about it, even if I wanted to.
What was his personality like in those years outside of the ring?
Yeah, well, the Iron Sheik wasn't so crazy then, or maybe he was still crazy, he just didn't show the insanity that he does now, I guess. He was a great guy. He was a pretty serious guy. He was wrestling as Muhammad Farouk back then. And it was a great crew, but his personality back then was a lot more serious, and I don't know how far gone he was. I mean, he was a pretty cool guy to me, with the exception of stretching me.